Hey everybody, this is Jim with Harvest Harmonics and welcome to the Future of Farming today. And today we're going to be discussing a little bit about regenerative farming. By now, most of you, if you're in the agricultural industry, even if you're just putting your toe in and haven't really started, you probably heard about regenerative agriculture. So first of all, for those of you guys who don't know really what regen agriculture is, it has to do with growing techniques that are designed to regenerate the soil and replenish it. In other words, it's a way to continue to grow sustainably so that you can get a good crop out year over year. And it incorporates a number of different practices. It's not just one thing or one type of input. It's almost a holistic approach where you're incorporating different things that work together to sort of improve the overall health of the soil and the overall health of the land. And that's really what a lot of farmers are starting to wake up to. It's the fact that, yeah, if you're a big broadacre corn farmer, you may be able to make a good living off of just lots and lots of acres and of course government subsidies, but it's going to be harder and more difficult for you going forward because at the end of the day, there's these factors like climate change, there's factors of soil depletion, there's factors of reduced microbial activity in the soil, rising cost of inputs, including biologicals. All of these different things make what we call conventional farming more and more difficult, and it's not going to get any easier. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not going to get any easier going forward. But regenerative agriculture, the idea is if you incorporate different things together into a more holistic ecosystem, you can achieve a lot of what you want to achieve. For example, if you have livestock that you're allowing to come in and graze, for example, they can graze in between the crop plants or in and around. What happens when livestock grazes in an area? Well, they have their own natural compaction, which is a lot less and a lot nicer than this is a tractor compaction. But they also defecate, they also urinate. So they're actually producing nitrogen and other beneficial compounds for plant growth. If you're using cover cropping in between your row crops, for example, if you have weeds and other things going in between the trees or the rows that you have, then obviously that additional types of plant life will help suppress weed growth. It will also provide biodiversity so that it becomes less likely that insects are as able to adapt to change. It's one kind of thing that's interesting. I talked to a guy actually from Bayer Crop Science, and he said one of the things that they run into on the chemical side and the chemical producers is, the fact that insects become resistant very, very fast. They come out with a new pesticide, and then within 3 or 4 years, the insects have adapted to it, built up an immunity or resistance to that chemical. And now they have to go back and redevelop a new chemical all over again, right? And that's what the chemical companies have been patient, right, for a long time. And farmers are facing the same thing, right? But when you look at a regenerative approach, you see a much different kind of picture because you're incorporating different species of plants and different species of insects, even predatory insects that can eat the thrips and the mites and the other things that are destroying crops, like ladybugs and other types of things that can actually eat the insects that are actually causing damage to your crops, right? And then when you incorporate different varieties of plant life, different species of plants, you can also provide the soil and the microbial populations of soil with enough balance that they're able to enhance the plant's ability to resist insects, to become healthier and resist these types of things. And some types of plants, when you have monocropping, it's just one crop in a field, eventually that genetic diversity gets less and less, and that becomes a problem. With regenerative farming, you kind of compensate for that, whether it's cover cropping in between seasons or cover cropping in between your row crops and those types of things. These can be very beneficial. Now, of course, my company, Harvest Harmonics, sells the crop booster technology. And the crop booster is designed really to work directly with plants, but we really help those farmers that are engaging in regenerative and organic practices because if you're already doing regenerative agriculture and you're introducing and keeping the biological diversity within the soil and within the environment, then our system is going to help those plants just magnify what they're able to do. So all the benefits of regenerative agriculture are enhanced because we're increasing photosynthetic activity, we're improving microbial function in the soil, we're improving water retention in the soil, and of course, we're assisting the microbes in the soil to break down those natural fertilizers you get from defecating animals or other types of things. So we really work well with regenerative agriculture, and we want to partner with regenerative ag professionals in and around the world, because we want to use their knowledge and their expertise to help the farmer grow healthier, better quality fruits and vegetables for everybody. And we want to be able to accelerate what they're able to do so that the conventional farmer that's relying on chemicals or GMOs or other types of things can look at an alternative that's not going to cause them to immediately lose profitability, right? That they're going to be able to make that transition much faster into a more organic, more natural, more regenerative and sustainable growing practices. At the end of the day, of course, we look at the food needs of a growing population. And yes, we are growing as a worldwide population and we will need more food to feed everybody. But a lot of the problems with this has less to do with the amount of food that's being produced and more to do with how do we transport the food from one place to another. And we're working with partners that are able to reduce that travel time and reduce that footprint and make that much more easy. We're looking at how do we improve the shelf life and the quality of the food so that it can make the journey without having to be thrown away. Because imagine how much food is discarded around the world, and you'll understand that, hey, if we could just reduce the waste in terms of commercial food production by 20 or 30%, which we can easily do with the right practices, then we don't have to worry about that as much. We don't have to worry about increasing our yield and by 20, 30% over what we're already doing. We can actually just reduce the waste. And so the Kemonoxy Crop Booster is a tool that most farmers are using to basically enhance their row crop, enhance their ability to produce a healthy, good quality crop, but also to work hand in hand with organic and regenerative growing methods so that the farmer can go back to a state of nature. There's a lot of types of technological advance in a lot of industries right now, but what we're finding in agriculture is those technological innovations like our crop booster, which are so beneficial, which are the most beneficial, are actually taking farming back to a state that it was in before we had this green revolution, so that we're able to maintain yield and quality that came from the use of chemicals and seeds and these types of things. But we're able to do that while incorporating a more natural, more traditional sort of farming methods that incorporates natural elements like livestock, like microbial functions, like multi-species cropping, et cetera. So if you are a regenerative farmer, or if you're just looking at regenerative farming and are interested in how you can make the transition, please let me know, because I have written an ebook and a kind of a step-by-step guide for how you could do that. I'd love to share it with you. You just give me an email at service@harvestharmonics.com, put in the subject line regenerative agriculture ebook, and I'd be happy to send that your way. For everybody else, if you're just interested in increasing yield and reducing your input costs, we can help you there too. Call us at 727-324-6750 or email us at service@harvestharmonics.com. And we'll talk soon so that you can become part of the future of farming today. Talk soon.